So in this video we will learn about the algebraic properties of set theory. The first property is called the commutative property. It says, suppose you are having two sets A and B and any set operation is star, then what we can say is that A star B will be same with B star A. If this happens, then we say that star satisfies commutative property. So one by one we will see all the properties. We will verify this property for all the set operations. So first of all, let us verify it for union. So we have to verify whether A union B is same as B union A. That means if we draw the Venn diagram, say these two sets are A and B, then see the Venn diagram for A union B will be this shaded region, and see if we flip the positions of A and B, then also the shaded region will remain same. So we can say here from the Venn diagram clearly the union satisfies the commutative property. So take this one as B, this one as A. So it will satisfy it will give the same region. That means it will satisfy the commutative property. So we can say set unions are commutative. Okay, so proceed to the next. Next is intersections. So to verify that A intersection B is B intersection A, whether it is true. See again, if we draw the Venn diagram, this will look like this. So this is A, this is B. The intersection will be given at the overlap position. So it is A intersection B. And see, if you take the reverse order here, then also this overlap position will be representing B intersection A. So clearly both the regions are same, so we can say that this will happen. So these intersections are also commutative. Sorry, this will be, now it's okay. So next one is the difference of two sets. So we have to verify whether A difference B is same as B difference A. So if we draw the Venn diagram again, we will see that A difference B is the region, this one, because it will contain all the elements which are in A but not in B. So all the portion of B will be subtracted. So this portion is A difference B, and also for the region of B difference A, we will get this one. Say, okay, let me show it in the same diagram, not here. So if we shape the portion for B difference A vertically, then this will be the region for B difference A. Then see, clearly the regions are not equal. So we can construct examples in which A difference B and B difference A will be different. So let us consider the example, this one. Say 135 and B is say 2, 4, 5. Okay, so then let me draw the Venn diagram for this example. Okay, so then clearly you can see that 5 is in both the sets. So we can say 5 will be in the intersection. So we can write 5 here. 1 and 3 is entirely inside A. 2 and 4 are entirely inside B. So from the previous region for A difference B and B difference A, we can clearly verify that A difference B is 1 and 3 and B difference A is 2 and 4. So clearly they are not equal. So we can say that difference of two sets is not commutative. In the last video I have said that to remove this problem for difference, that is it is not commutative, we construct another kind of difference of two sets that is called the symmetric difference, and we will see that that symmetric difference will be commutative. So let us see how we define the symmetric difference. We define the symmetric difference A delta B as A difference B union B difference A. Now we have seen that unions are commutative. So if we construct B delta A, then it will be B difference A union A difference B. And by the commutativity of union, we can write it as A difference B union B difference A. And clearly it will be A delta B. So these two will be equal. That means the symmetric difference delta becomes a commutative operation. So we can say delta are commutative. Sorry, it's commutative. In the Venn diagram also we can show this. See, if this is A and this is B, then the definition for A delta B says the Venn diagram will be this. Only the intersection portion will not be in the Venn diagram, in the shaded region. The rest of the part from A union B will be in the Venn diagram. So that's how A delta B becomes A difference B union B difference A. So clearly now if you flip the positions of A and B, you will see it will have the same region. That's why it becomes commutative. Okay, so one thing to note here. See, from the Venn diagram of A delta B, this is the Venn diagram for A delta B. You see, we can also write this thing as, we can take the whole union of A union B, and then we subtract, if we then subtract A intersection B from that, we will get this Venn diagram. That means I am saying you take two sets A and B, you take their union, and then you subtract the position A intersection B. See, the same region will come. That means we can write A delta B as this also. A difference B difference A intersection B. This is another definition for, an alternative definition for this symmetric difference. Just note it. Sometimes we will use it in problems. Okay, so this is the commutative property for the operation, for the set operations. Next we come to associative property. number 2 is associative property. Okay, for associativity we need 3 sets. One is A, B, C and an operation star, that is a set operation. And we say that star is associative if we see it satisfies this property, this equality. A star B star C is equal to A star B star C. Means you are first doing the operation with B and C, then operating A, and in the right side you are first doing the operation for A and B and then operating the result with C. So if these two gives the same result, we say that star is associative. So let us verify the set operations one by one. So first of all, we see the associativity of union. For that we take this A union B union C, and it should be equal to A union B union C. So let us draw the Venn diagram. The easiest way to show that two sets are equal is the Venn diagram. So these are the sets A, B, C. Then first we draw the Venn diagram for B union C. That will be this region. And now we are taking the union with A. So this is the set A. So if you take the union of these two, means B union C and A, it will give the whole region. So the whole region here inside the circles will be the region for A union B union C. And also if you draw the Venn diagram for the right side, it is A, B and C. Then first we take A union B. That means it is this. And then we are considering C also. So we are taking C like the vertical shading. So see, the whole shaded region is the total area for the circles. So we can say this is the region for, okay, so this was A union B union C, and this is A union B union C. So see, both the regions are same, so we can say that these two are equal. So we can say that unions are associative. So whether intersection will satisfy this thing, let us check. So we have to verify whether A intersection B intersection C is equal to A intersection B intersection C. So we have to draw the Venn diagrams. So take these as the sets A, B, C, and see for the left hand side. First we take B intersection C. So this is this region, and then we take A. So this is the intersection with A and B intersection C. In this is the triangular shape here. And also, if we draw the right hand side, it is A, B, C like this. And then first we shade A intersection B, that means this part, and then with C. So it will be this part. See, it is also the triangular part in the middle. So see, both the Venn diagrams are giving the same region. I mean the double shaded regions are same. So we don't include this part in A intersection B intersection C, and we don't include this part in A intersection B intersection C. So now both the regions are same. So we can say that intersections are also associative. Next, what comes? It is the difference for two sets. So let us consider difference. So we have to show that A difference, B difference, C, or we have to check, because most of the times difference, the operation difference will not satisfy most of the properties. So let us see. We have to show whether, we have to verify whether these are equal. So let us draw the Venn diagram one by one. Okay, so for the first, we draw the sets. Now see, first we draw the Venn diagram for B difference C. So that will be like this, and then we subtract it from A. So which part of B difference C is inside A? Only this part. So this will be subtracted from A. So we shade A difference, B difference, C like this, and then subtract this part. So clearly the region for B difference C, sorry, A difference, B difference, C will be this. And here in the second picture we draw the Venn diagram for the right side. Say this is A, this is B, this is C. So A difference B is here. And now we have to subtract C from it. So the part of C which is inside this A difference B is this. We have to subtract it. See, the two regions are different. So we can say these two are not equal. So we say that difference is not associative. So in this way we can one by one verify the properties. Now since it is not verifying, it is not satisfying the associativity, we should give an example. So that will be one of your homework. It is one of your homework that show by an example that set difference is the operation, so write it in inverted comma. So set difference is not associative. So how I have constructed the example for commutativity of difference operation, we will construct the example for the associativity, just like that. Okay, so whether delta will be associative. So this is your second example homework, that check whether delta, that is the symmetric difference, is associative or not. Okay, so the next property is called the distributive property. For this we need again three sets A, B, C and two operations, say star, and this symbol is called dot. These are two set operations. Okay, so we say that star is distributed over naught. Let me write it. Star is distributed over naught if we see A star B not C is given by A star B not A star C, and we say naught is distributed over star if A naught B star C is A naught B star A naught C. So these two properties are called the distributive property for set operations. So instead of star and not, here we will take union, intersection and difference. So let us see. Sorry. So first of all, let us take star as union and not as intersection. So we can write A union B intersection C is equals to A union B intersection A union C. So we have to verify whether this is equal. So let us draw the Venn diagram again. So this is say A, B and C. So first of all we consider B intersection C. So this is the set B intersection C, and then we consider the union with A. So if we take the union with A, this will be the shaded region for A union B intersection C. We can write it in the top. And if we draw the right hand side in the Venn diagram, we get this thing. Okay, so see, first we consider A union B. So I shade the region for A union B using vertical streaks. And then we also shade A union C by vertical way. Like this. So see, which region is doubly shaded. See, only this part, this plus this. So this is the region which is with a double shading. And see, the double shaded region, if we remove the single shaded regions, we will get this thing. And see, this is the same thing with the previous picture here. So we can say these two are equal from the Venn diagram. And if we, so from here we can say that union is distributive over intersection. Okay. And similarly you can show the next thing, that is, it's your homework. An intersection is distributive over union, that is this. So distributive property satisfies for this. Now let us consider the distributive property with union and subtraction and set difference. So what we have to show? We have to verify whether A union B difference C is equal with A union B difference A union C. So let us verify. Again take the sets. A, B, C. Then you draw the Venn diagram for B difference C. So that is like this. And then you take the union with A. So you shape the region for A like this. So this is the whole region with for A difference B, A union B difference C. Now we shape the region. We draw the Venn diagram for the right hand side. So again A, B, C. Now you see it is A union B. So this is A union B. And then we have to subtract the portion of A union C. So A union C we have to subtract the portion for A union C. So which part is in A union C? Is the part this. So see, if we remove this part, A part for A union C, we get only this thing. Remove all the part for A union C, which will look like this. So see, they are not equal. So we can say union is not distributive over difference. So what is the case for difference and union? Whether this will satisfy A difference B, union A difference C. This is not satisfied. So let us verify the second one. Okay, for A difference B union C, we have to show that it will be A difference B, whether we have to verify whether it is A difference B union A difference C. So let us verify. So first of all, we will draw the Venn diagram for the left side, that is A difference B union C. So see, this is A. This part is A, and here this is B union C. The vertical one is B union C, the horizontal one is A. So we have to find A difference B union C. That means we have to subtract the part of B union C which is inside A. So if we remove that, it will look like this. If we completely draw the diagram, it will be like this. And also see, now the right hand side, A difference B union A difference C. So for that we draw the diagram like this. So first of all we draw the A difference B. So it will be this one, and A difference C, sorry, A difference B will be this one, and A difference C will be this vertical one. So if we take the union, that will include this horizontal and vertical, this parts also, this part and also this part. So finally we will get something like this. After taking the union, this will be A, this will be B, this will be C. So this diagram will be of A difference B union A difference C, and this is the diagram for A difference B union C. So clearly you can verify that these two diagrams are different, so the sets are different. So this is the verification for A difference B union C, whether it is equal to A difference B or union A difference C, and you can see it is not. So what we can conclude is that difference is not distributive over union. So till now we have verified three properties. These are commutative, associative and distributive. There are many more properties with set operations. And the next one is the identity property. Identity property. It says that if you take any set A, whether it is finite, infinite, anything, and if you take the empty set phi, then we will get A union phi is equals to. So phi is such a set which gives the same set over union for any set. So whenever you are taking any set A union phi will be A. And also, if U is the universal set, then we can say that A intersection U will be A itself. So with the universal set, if you take the intersection with any set A, then A union universal set will be, A intersection universal set will be again the set A. In the Venn diagram, you can see clearly. So this is the Venn diagram for A, and this is the outside is the set U. So if U is the universal set for A, then the intersection with U will be only A, because A is a subset of U. The intersection will be the smaller one. So this is the set. And for phi, since phi is an empty set, it will contribute nothing to the union. So the union will be only A. These properties we will require somewhere in the problems. Next one comes is the property, is called the property for complement. It says if you take any set A and its complement A dash, then we will get these two properties, that A union A complement will be the universal set and A intersection A complement will be the empty set. So if you see here, this set is A complement will be its outside part. This is the region for A complement. Now if you take the union of these two, this will give the whole universal set. And again, since these are having no overlaps, we can say that intersection will be phi. So these are some fundamental properties of algebra with set operations. Next we go to the property of idempotent. It's called the idempotent property. Idempotent property says if you take any set A and if you take the union with itself, it will be A. And again, if you take the intersection with A itself, it will be again A. These two are called the idempotent property. There is another property called the dominance property. Says for any set A and the universal set U, we can say that A union U will be V and A intersection phi will be phi. So this holds for any set A. This holds for any set A. So since here you take any set and after the union you get the universal set. So it is saying that universal set is dominating this situation and here the empty set is dominating this situation. You take any set and take the intersection with the empty set, it will get back the empty set. So here empty set is doing the domination, that's why these properties are called dominance property. Next one is called the absorption property. This says if you take the union with A intersection B, it will give A. Because here A intersection B is a part of A. If you take union of these two, it will give the larger set term that. So in the Venn diagram we can see it properly. So this is A, this is B. This part is A intersection B. So we are saying we are taking the union with A and A intersection B. So this is A and this part is A intersection B. So the union will be the whole set A. So this thing is basically A is absorbing this part. See in the Venn diagram, A is absorbing the part A intersection B. That's why it is called the absorption property. And similarly, absorption property with intersection will be this. If you take the larger set A union B and take the intersection with it, with A, then you will see you will get back A again. So if you draw the Venn diagram here, so this is A, this is B, and this part is the intersection A union B, and you are taking the intersection with A. If you shape A, now you only consider the doubly shaded region, and you will see it will be only this. See, the only shaded region is A, so this will be A. So that's how these three properties are coming. Next is a very important proposition, or you can say it's a theorem. It's a law that is called the De Morgan's law. It is associated with the complements and the union and intersection. So how complement behave with union and intersection, that we will see in the De Morgan's law. It's a very famous law. You see it in the computers also, in logics and Boolean algebra and everywhere in the computer system. It says if you take any two sets A and B, then and consider U as the universal set, then we can say that A union B whole complement will be A complement intersection B complement. This is the part 1 of the law. The second part is saying that if we take intersection and a complement over it, then it will give A complement union B complement. The proof comes with Venn diagram easily. So take A and B here. First you shade A union B for the proof of 1. And now consider the the complement. So the complement is the outside. And let us draw the Venn diagram for the right side, that is A complement intersection B complement. So clearly A complement is this part, the outside of A. It will come inside B. Now you draw the, let me write the sequence inside the 6. So here. Now you draw the set B complement. So let me give it vertically. So B complement will look like this. Now see which region is a doubly shaded region. See, if we shade the region for A union B complement, it will be this in the picture. So we draw it again. This is A, this is B, and A union B is in the inside part for the two circles. So its complement will be outside the two circles. And if I remove the inside part for this diagram, we see this Venn diagram. This is A and this is B. See, these two regions are same. So we can say that this equality is clearly holding. So we will prove the second part just as I have proved the first part by drawing the Venn diagrams. So this is called the De Morgan's law. So next we come to the property. So next we come to a principle that is called the principle of duality. So it says that for any true statement, so we are considering a true statement, any statement, say any mathematical statement, or any logical statement that has only two possibilities. Either it will be true or it will be false. So now, if we say if we consider any true statement, that is associated with set unions, intersections, complement, universal set, and empty set, then its dual statement we obtain by dual statement is obtained by replacing union by intersection. Universal set by complement. Sorry, universal set by empty set, and vice versa. Then these are the dual statements for the previous two statements. Now, principle of duality is saying if we consider any true statement, then its dual statement will be also true. So we say that the dual statement of any true statement is true. So this is the principle of duality. So let me give an example, then it will be easier to understand. So let me consider a true statement. Say this one. A union B intersection C is equals to A union B intersection A union C. Previously we have seen that this is true. Now we apply the duality. So what will be the dual statement for this? So its dual will be obtained by replacing the union with intersection and intersection with union. So see, from here, if we replace the unions and intersections, then we will get this one. And see, this one is also true. We have seen previously. This is the this is the distributive property for intersection over union. And this is the distributive property for union over intersection. So if this one is true, the principle of duality says that this statement will also be true. Another example for this is the De Morgan's law. Is this A union B complement is A complement intersection B complement. Now if you consider the dual statement of this, it will be A intersection B complement is equals to A complement union B complement. And see, this is the second statement for the De Morgan's law. So if this one is true, the principle of duality is saying that this one is also true. So we have proved this one already. So from that we can say this one is also true. So by principle of duality we can prove several identities or laws very easily. If it satisfies the property of dual statement, then it will be proved easily. Okay. So these are some algebraic properties of set theory. Another way to prove the equality of two sets is like this. We show that to prove A equal to B, we can alternatively say that it is the same statement that A is subset of B and B is subset of A is occurring together here. So let me prove the second statement of the De Morgan's law by this. So it says, let me write it again, De Morgan's law. It says that the intersection and its complement will give union of the complements. It was the second step. So basically we have to show that this set is equal to this set. So how will we prove it? We will show that this is a subset of this and the right hand side is also a subset of the left hand side. So for the first part, we take an arbitrary element from the left hand side and if we can show that X is also in the set, this one in the right hand side, so we can say that the left hand side is the subset of the right hand side. So let us see from here. So X is belonging to the complement of A intersection B. So we can say that X is not in the set A intersection B, because if it is in the complement, then it is not in the original set. So now for this kind of proofs, it will be better to draw the Venn diagram. So we are saying that X is not in A intersection B. So X is not here. So where it will be? It will be either here or somewhere outside. So we can say either X is not in A or X is not in B. So realize this thing. Not in the intersection means it will be either not in A or not in B. So this is the thing. So if X is not in A, we can write X is in the A complement. Or means we can write this symbol. Or X is not in B means X is in the B complement. So from here, see, it is the condition for union. We can write X is belonging to A complement, union B complement, and this is the right hand side. So we can say from here that A intersection B complement is a subset of A complement, union B complement. Now this is one part, and now we have to show that the right hand side is a subset of the left hand side. So for that, we again take an arbitrary element y from the right hand side, and see, this logic will satisfy here also. So we take y from this. So y is in the union, that means either y will be in the A complement or y will be in the B complement. So then, if y is in the A complement, we can write y is not in A, or y is not in B. So if y is not in A and not in B, in any case we can say it is not in the intersection, because if y doesn't come inside A, then it will not come here in the intersection. And again, if y doesn't come in the set B, then it will not come in the intersection, because the intersection B is the common part for A and B. So we can say from here that y doesn't come in the intersection part, and from here we can say that y will come to the complement of the intersection. So from here we can say, since every element of A complement intersection union B complement is an element of A intersection B whole complement, we can say the set A complement union B complement is a subset of A intersection B whole complement. Subset properties, we can say that these sets are equal. So this is another way to prove the equality of two sets. Okay, now we will see the notion of number of elements of a set. Say we are taking A as a set, then we define n of A to be the number of elements in the set A. So what we will see here is the various formulas to find the number of elements when we do the set operations, and we get different kind of sets. Suppose we are given the sets A and B, and we also have their number of elements. We have to find what should be the number of element of A union B, or say we have to find the number of elements of A intersection B, or say number of element in A difference B. So this kind of questions we will deal with. So first we find the number of element in A union B. Okay, also remember this number of element has another name that is called cardinality of A. It is also denoted by hash A. So basically this number of element is a more particular term for this cardinality. This cardinality is more general term. Usually we use cardinality for an infinite set, and this can also be used for finite sets, but mainly it is used for infinite sets. I have said in the first day introduction video that the basic aim of set theory was to find the size of infinity. Like if we consider the set N and Z and R, so all these three are infinite sets, but N and Z are countable sets. So there, from them, the size of infinity is one kind of thing, and from R the size of infinity is different kind of thing. So to make a distinction between them, this concept of cardinality is introduced by George Cantor. And for now we will avoid this thing. We will only concentrate on finite sets and their number of elements. So this N of A is basically defined for finite sets. Okay. So let us consider the Venn diagram now. It will be easier to express. So A and B are given, and we have to find the number of elements in A union B. So A union B is this shaded region. Now see, if we consider all the elements in A union B, then for this we will consider A once, so N of A will be considered once, then the set B will be considered, so it is N of B. Now see, this intersection part, when we are considering A, is considered one time, and again it will be considered if we take B separately. So basically it is considered two times, but we need only one times. So we subtract it from here, and this will be the formula for A union B, N of A union B. So if this is the case, then taking the intersection in the left side and the union in the right side, you can also say this equality. That means the formula for intersection in terms of union, this can also be said. Next we come to, so these two are two formulas. Next we come to the formula for A difference B. Before that, we come to another concept that is called the disjoint sets. So let me write it first. We consider disjoint sets. We say that A and B are disjoint if we see that A intersection B is empty. That means they look like this. This is A and this is B. So if the sets A and B looks like this, we say that these two sets are disjoint, and it will be represented by the intersection to be 5. That means in this case, N of A intersection B will be 0. Okay. Okay, so if this is the case, then see what will be the value of N of A union B. See, from here we can say the N of A union B will be the sum of NA and NB. Means we consider all the elements here and we consider all the elements here. The total sum of these two number of elements will be the number of element in A union B. So whenever we have some set, say we consider here A union B as C. So let A union B as C. then we can write n of C is n of A plus n of B. So this is what this is saying is that if we can consider one set, say C, as a union of two sets A and B, where the sets A and B are disjoint, then we can write the number of elements of C as n of A plus n of B. So no intersections will be there. Then we can apply this formula, and it will be easier to find the number of elements in this way. See here, for an example, I take n of A union B, n of A difference B. So if we consider the set in the Venn diagram, what we see, so this is A and this is B. So A difference B is here. And in these situations, we will have the values of n of A and n of B. So can we construct any situation in which A difference B will be associated, and we will get two sets which are disjoint, and their union will be a given set. So we require two sets which are disjoint, and their union will be a given set. So here A and B are given. We have to find A difference B, so we have to associate A difference B in the situation, and another set we will take as A intersection B. You see, this part is A difference B and this part is A intersection B. So clearly we can see that A difference B and A intersection B are disjoint, and also their union is the whole set A. So we can write here that this is, if we want to write n of A, we can write n of A equals to n of A difference B plus n of A intersection B. See by this formula. Okay. So from here, since number of elements in A and A intersection B are given, we can find the number of elements in A difference B as n of A minus n of A intersection B. So similarly, if we take the set B difference A, then also we can find the number of elements in n of B difference A. And what will be the formula for this? Clearly it will be, see, we are taking the set B and expressing it as a union of A intersection B and B difference A, which are disjoint. So we can write here, it should be n of B minus n of A intersection B, just in the same way. Okay, so difference of two sets is covered, union and intersections are covered. Next, what we require is the complement. So what can we say about the number of elements in the complement of A? So few laws we have done. So this is A, there is a universal set U. So we have to find the number of elements in a complement. So again we need two sets which are mutually exclusive, which are disjoint. Mutually exclusive is another name for disjoint. So which are two sets which are disjoint, and their union will be a given set. Now see here, the given sets are A and universal set. So we can apply the law of complement that says for any set A, you can write A union A complement as the universal set. And also see, we have another law for complement that A intersection A complement is 5. So these are disjoint. So from here we can say n of A intersection A complement is 0, and from here n of A union A complement is equal to n of A plus n of A complement, and which is nothing but n of u. So n of a plus n of a complement will be n of u. Now all these terms are given. So sorry, n of a and n of u are given. So from here we can say n of a complement will be n of u minus n of a. Okay, note here another thing, that this difference has another alternative definition that says, since a union a complement is u, we can say that a complement is nothing but u differential. See, if you subtract the part of a from the universal set, it will remain only the a complement part. So that's how we can say this equality. So this is the formula for n of a complement. So with these formulas we have another type of sum that is associated with the number of elements in a set. So we'll do that kind of sums, and they are important for your exam. Okay, so that's it for this video. We'll see some problems in the next video.